Hello. Welcome to a special episode of Movies with Drew. That's right. I don't know why I'm saying it weird.
I don't know either.
But that's okay. We have my special guest, Lela, here again for a very special bonus episode. Lela is the lucky second person that does it twice now, 2 in a row.
Yes.
So that's great. We're going to talk about Dune, the 1984 version, not the upcoming 2020 film.
I'll talk a little bit about the new one too.
Yes, very true. Very true. But I think we're both very excited to talk about it. Before we talk about it, I wanted to bring up my anecdote that I forgot to ask when we were talking about the virgin suicides.
Okay.
That is a lot of, would you consider us #woke?
I would like to think that we are woke.
Okay. #woke.
#woke.
Yes. Okay, good. So I've noticed a lot of people on social media, when they call their significant other, they don't call them their wife or husband anymore. They say their partner.
Yeah.
Do you, would you like to be called partners instead of wife and husband?
What does that have to do with anything?
I don't know, but I thought of it when we were watching the last.
No.
Okay, that's fine. I was just making sure because when I saw that people were doing it, I was like, well, I always say Lela's my wife, and I hope that that is still.
Well, maybe you're just making an assumption that that is their wife. Maybe they aren't married. Maybe they are just partners.
You could be very true.
People don't get married.
That's very true. You could absolutely be right.
#more woke than that one.
I just assumed these people were married.
No, you old man.
You're right.
Okay.
You're right. Okay, so we're going to talk about Dune. This is David Lynch's 3rd film. That's right. I did my research.
Good. Do you have a synopsis of the movie?
I've watched it and don't really understand what I'm doing, so I do not have a synopsis.
Well, we did not do a synopsis for the Virgin Suicides, which probably left some people in the dark. So you should probably say
okay.
Dune is a science fiction messiah story.
Yes.
What it is. There are different species. There are monsters, but mostly it's a Jesus story.
And you could say the humans are the true monsters, but also there are actual monsters.
There are some, but it's just important to. I mean, we could go into the whole differences between all of the planets and all of that mess, but that's probably more than Joe and Ellen want to hear about.
Yes. And we started with the director's cut, which was. I guess we got 10 minutes in and they were talking about robots and there was this big tapestry. And I was I have no idea what any of this is.
That was my fault. And it's not the director's cut. There is no director's cut. It is the extended version that the company used to show the movie on television after it had been in theaters. They thought that it would help explain things more, which was all this grand exposition at the beginning.
Interesting.
And then they actually start the movie as they are going, as the Atreides family is moving to Arrakis. It doesn't show all that stuff in the beginning.
Oh, I sort of like that beginning stuff.
I know, right?
Cool. Yeah.
So did David Lynch. So,
okay.
No, and that was my fault. I shouldn't have offered it to you. I knew you would want to pick that one, but
I do like the long versions.
It's not a better cut in any way. And like I said, it leaves out a lot of the you're able to hear a lot of thoughts of the characters as you're watching David Lynch's version of it. And in the extended version, a lot of those are cut out. I'm sorry.
Interesting.
Yeah, the extended version.
Okay.
But yes, do not call it the director's cut. David Lynch wants nothing to do with that.
I think that's the first time I've ever actually seen directed by Alan Smithy,
yes.
The film.
Absolutely. I do know that it only made $30 million when it was in its first theater run.
That sucks.
And I think it cost $60 to make, so it was a definite failure or something like that. It's one of my most favorite movies. So
it was very neat. The thing that I did not like about it, that I think bothered me the most, was those weird thought bubbles they did, where they would be somebody would be like, Paul Atreides, I hate you, and then they would leave the room, and Paul would be like, I really don't like that person either. I think I'm going to try to murder them.
Right. But did that not help you get in? Had that just been silent and had he just been staring at the wall, As David Lynch is wont to do in a lot of his TV shows and movies. I mean, I think it's absolutely necessary.
I think it was bad storytelling. I don't think they should have just been like, here's a reaction, but I think they could have done it a different way.
Agree, but you're trying to condense a massive novel into what the studios wanted less than 2 hours.
Yeah. And I do think they did a good job on that. Like, they fit a bunch of junk in this movie.
Yeah.
And, like, it didn't feel like no parts felt slow because they had to jam so much information in there. But it didn't seem like it was super, like, long and a lot of stuff happened. And, I mean, I joked that I felt lost, but I didn't super feel lost.
No.
Although this is, like, the third or fourth time.
And, I mean, it came out in 84, and I think I was probably, I didn't see it in theaters. So it had to have been VHS when I saw it, but I was still a kid, and I got it. So
all I remember is I guess I watched it with my parents, but I remember the hand thing and thinking that was like,
oh, the box.
Yeah, the box was terrifying, and that Duke, not the Duke, the guy,
the Baron.
Yeah, the Baron. He was like terrifying and really gross, and I thought he wouldn't be those watching it again, but he was definitely really gross. And pretty terrifying as well.
Do you know why he has those sores all over his face?
No, I do not.
Okay. He was cursed by the Bene Gesserit witches.
And the Bene Gesserit are the witches.
They're witches. Okay. I read all these books, by the way, and I love them. So he, being the leader of the House Harkonnen, not Harkonnen, which we'll get to later. But he was told by the Bene Gesserits to mate with one of the Bene Gesserit witches and produce a daughter that they would give to Duke Leto to produce another daughter that can be, this daughter can marry somebody from the House Harkonnen and bridge the families together.
Leto was Paul's father?
Yes.
Okay.
So the woman that he was supposed to have, impregnate is actually the Reverend Mother.
The one that's
the witch that has the box that put Paul's hand in the box. Okay.
But she's different from the one that was with the Emperor of the Galaxy.
No, that's still her.
Okay, that confused me then. Okay.
Reverend Mother Gaius.
Okay. I won't remember that.
But anyway, this was okay. He didn't want to because he is in fact a homosexual.
Okay.
And got mad that they were telling him that he had to.
Yeah.
So he ended up beating her and he raped her.
Ooh.
So after that, she got up and cursed him. Turns out she was pregnant anyway, and their child is the Lady Jessica, Paul's mother. So Paul's grandfather is the Baron.
Interesting.
But Jessica doesn't even know that.
How come but she can like read minds? Can they read minds?
No, they don't read minds. They read your body.
Okay.
Anyway, too much.
So one of my questions is are the Bene Gesserit, the witch ladies, are they good or bad? Because I thought the one with the Emperor of the Universe was like bad because she seemed like very angry and like did she not want Paul to win?
They think they're in charge.
Okay.
Their whole deal is that they're trying to breed the Kwisatz Haderach into being, but they don't actually want it to happen because he is more powerful than they are. Okay. Their power, their magic is kind of a mystery that nobody's really figured out. Really, they're just smart ladies. One
of my pet peeves with the movie is the name Kwisatz Haderach. Like, why don't they just call it like
Haderach.
We're having a godchild?
Because it's actually a Hebrew phrase.
Oh, okay.
Well, it means jump the path, follow the path in Hebrew.
I thought it was some made up nonsense by Frank Herbert. He's like, we got to make this funny word. Quit back to the Haderach.
A lot of the names are all taken from the Bible.
Okay. Well, then that's less of a pet peeve for me.
Well, okay. Do you know what, once Paul discovers that he is a Kwisatz Haderach, do you know what his power is? Do you know what?
He can yell stuff and make things blow up.
Well, No, that's
without
that's another. We'll talk about that in a minute. Actually, he is able to see the past, the present, and the future all at the same time, and he's able to.
I mean, technically, that's not a great superpower because I can see the past and the present at the same time. I just
not your past. He can see everybody's past.
Okay.
He can look at Jessica now, and he knew that the Baron was Jessica's father, and he told her.
Interesting.
Yes.
So he's sort of like Dr. Manhattan.
Mm.
Like Dr. Manhattan.
Like Dr. Manhattan.
Okay.
But anyway, yes. So the weirding way, using their voices to destroy things.
They also needed a different name for the weirding way.
Mm-hmm. That's not from the books per
Really?
se. Paul can do it. The Bene Gesserit are their fighting skill that they all know, which is what Jessica and Paul teach to the Fremen once they get out to the desert, is martial arts, basically.
That would have been sweet if they were just out there.
So in the books, when the Fremen are fighting the guild and they're fighting the Harkonnens and everybody, they're actually fist fighting them and beating them up with their knives and things that they learned. But they don't have the weird voice guns.
Interesting.
Yes.
So that makes me wonder, like, the one thing I learned from watching Ip Man is that the Jeet Kune Do was originally made by a woman. And it's supposed to be like her way of fighting off, having to be married to an emperor or something.
So basically the Bene Gesserit just want to be in charge of everything.
Interesting. Why do they want to be in charge of everything? Who wants to do that? It takes a certain kind of psychopath.
That I don't know. I did not read the histories of the Bene Gesserit, so I can tell you that.
I'd just be like, I can do some cool kung fu. I can see stuff. I've got the haircut for it already. So, because they do have to. Do they shave their heads?
No, they
lose
their hair when they take the water of life.
And what is the water of life?
It's gross. It's the amniotic fluid that the baby worms are birthed in.
So that brings me to my next question.
Yes.
The pilot thing. The pilot thing that looks like Rick and Morty's lips when it goes.
Yes.
Which is like yeah. Is that a worm in some manifestation?
No, that was a person who has ingested so much spice that he has mutated and basically turned into that.
Interesting.
It looks more like a slug.
Yes.
But
okay.
They're basically just giant brains now.
That's nasty.
Yeah.
I like the. It was very David Lynch, but when the pilots like take them through the wormhole or whatever, and there's just like weird film things going like in outer space where it's like, and you just see the worm or the slug like.
He's not taking them through a wormhole. He's bending space.
Yes.
To move them from one, so they're not going through a worm.
Because I would argue that could be a wormhole.
Okay. Well, I read the books. So. Did you know that it was originally supposed to be directed by Ridley Scott?
I had an idea about that.
Did you?
But only because the original director was supposed to be Alejandro Jodorowsky.
Yes.
Who is wearing an Alejandro Jodorowsky t-shirt right now.
Like my segue talk about your t-shirt.
That was very nice. I really like this shirt, but it makes me feel super itchy, so I never wear it.
Oh, why?
I don't know. But I'm going to be very itchy tonight.
But he didn't. Ridley Scott dropped out. The production was taking too long, and he made Blade Runner instead. Probably a good choice. Yeah. It's funny because David Lynch does not like Ridley Scott or H.R. Giger. And H.R. Giger was supposed to do, when Alejandro Jodorowsky was doing it, it was going to be H.R. Giger doing everything. And who's going to cast, hold on, I've got it in my notes, don't look. Okay, hold on. Mick Jagger. Yeah. Salvador Dali. Yes, I did know Salvador Dali. That would have been interesting. Orson Welles, David Carradine, with Bronte, who is Alejandro Jodorowsky's son, as Paul, and then Pink Floyd was going to do the music. I think I would have really liked to see that. But David Lynch thinks that H.R. Giger took the alien design from his Eraserhead baby, which really does look like a little alien. And so he does not like those. Yeah. But
I thought the set design did look a lot like H.R. Giger stuff.
That's
like,
true.
It was very like slimy, and like the set design was super detailed, and I like that.
Yes.
Except for the room that looked like it was a giant green screen, which I wonder if they just didn't finish green screening it.
No, that was on. That was where the Baron was, right? The Harkonnens. Okay.
Yes.
No, I think their planet is just a big old mess all the time. So it doesn't surprise me that it was just an ugly green painted room.
Okay.
So it's supposed to, I mean, it was really probably a garage somewhere that they just threw paint up on the walls and made it look like that.
It was so nasty.
Just happened to be green, which is probably why you thought that.
That's very true. He was so nasty. What are those things? What are those heart plugs?
The heart plugs, the members of the Harkonnen family do not have heart plugs, but everybody that lives on their planet, everybody that is their slave basically gets a heart plug so that they can just kill them at any time that they want. It's a form of control.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That sucks.
So, but none of the members of the Harkonnen family have them.
That's good. How does it, I guess, do they go into detail? Like, does it have like
it's just a plug. It's literally a plug in their heart that they just pull out, and then all the blood comes out and they die.
It was really gross when he was like molesting the flower guy.
Yes.
And then his heart plug. It was, the whole thing made me feel very dirty.
It's supposed to.
It did a good
was
job
the point.
of that.
So, yes, it was quite disgusting. Everything about him is disgusting.
Yes. Who plays him? Oh, go ahead.
I will get to that. Let's talk about the casting.
Yes.
Okay. There's a new Dune coming out sometime this year, maybe, hopefully. And I have not been too happy about it.
Oh, how come?
Just because I love this movie. And anytime things are remade, I get upset about it. So, but I having just watched this with you, and I have seen more set pictures from the new movie, I'm maybe changing my mind a little bit.
Okay.
Now, I'm worried about where they're going to divide it up, because it will be 2 movies, because you can't do this in 2 hours.
I wish it was just 1 movie. 2 movies is a lot. I mean,
and the second movie will likely never be made, because it's only going to be made if this first one makes any money, which it's just not. So, but anyway, let's do comparison, because I'm very excited about this. So, first of all, you have to know that Paul is supposed to only be 15 years old.
Okay. That makes Timothée Chalamet a little bit closer.
A little bit closer. Now, Kyle MacLachlan was perfect.
That was his first movie of all time as well, which is incredibly surprising.
I thought he did manage to look young. I don't think he ever looked 15, but trying to put a 15-year-old kid into doing everything that he is doing. But, 3-4 years pass in the story.
Yeah.
So he does grow up a little bit.
He had awesome hair, too.
So Timothée Chalamet is going to play him in the new version. I'm not a fan.
I love him. So he's the A24 poster boy. So
I don't get it.
It's great.
I don't know why he's so.
He can emote. He's good looking, but he's not too good looking. The joke that I told you while we were talking about it earlier that I'll reuse now is that he looks like an Italian shoe that came to life.
I still don't know what that means.
It's like a nice shoe. So it's like he's nice looking, but underneath he's still, like a shoe. I don't know.
I don't think it's a good joke. It doesn't make sense.
I don't know where I heard it, but I thought it was very fitting.
It makes me uncomfortable that he looks the same age as James.
Yeah.
And he's a Hollywood sex symbol. It makes me uncomfortable.
Well, I'm sure it's only going to get worse as James gets older.
Oh, but he does have great, amazing hair, which Kyle MacLachlan also to be Paul. So as far as being the right age, I was worried because I thought Timothée Chalamet looked too young. Having seen some pictures, I think he'll be fine.
Yeah. And it is
he's beefed up a little bit too, so he's not this scrawny 15-year-old looking kid. So I'm more on board with it. He looks really good in the still suits that I've seen.
Excellent.
Okay.
Do the suits look different?
Yes, a little bit. The Fremen suits look almost exactly the same, but the body armor that they wear as part of
the Tron stuff.
Yeah, that's not there.
Okay.
All right. So, Francesca Annis played.
Wait. Okay, go ahead.
This is a 1984 movie.
Okay.
Francesca Annis was the lady that played Lady Jessica, who is Paul's mother.
Yep. She was very good, I thought.
She was also in the movie Krull.
I love Krull.
I know you did. That's why I put that.
I was going to say, Mom and Dad probably remember us renting that like constantly.
so if you know her from anything, it might be from that. I thought she was okay. It's going to be Rebecca Ferguson in the new version.
I did look her up because I was like, who is that? And I still don't really know who she is.
When we saw Dr. Sleep, she was the bad guy.
Oh, I do like her.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought she was one of the generic people.
No. She's the main bad guy.
Okay.
In Dr. Sleep. She's also, she also plays Ilsa in 2 Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of her from. I was like, which one was she from Mission Impossible? Because all the Mission Impossible ladies are like...
Yeah, but she's the one that's lasted 2 movies.
Okay. Well, I definitely liked her in
Yes,
Dr.
I really like her a lot. She is very commanding based on what she did in Dr. Sleep too.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that she will be great. She and Timothy Chalamet look a little bit alike actually, so I think that it works.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to give, she does have red hair, but I don't know if they're going to keep her hair red. The red hair is how you know that she's a Harkonnen, because the Harkonnens all have red hair.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they're going to do that. But
okay.
All right.
Okay.
So Dad was Jürgen Prochnow.
Yep. I liked him. I thought he was good.
From everything. Das Boot, Judge Dredd.
Mm-hmm.
And in this, did I write it down? Yes, it's going to be Oscar Isaac.
I like Oscar Isaac, so that's fine with me. I don't know that I guess he's old enough to be Timothy Chalamet's dad.
He's not.
That's okay though.
And he's supposed to be quite a bit older than Jessica even. So I just don't think he's serious enough. I don't think he's going to be able to do it.
He doesn't look like a weathered leader like
No, he doesn't.
Prochnow did. Like he looked like he'd seen everything. He was very wise.
Right.
Oscar Isaac just sort of looks like a younger, like Poe or whatever from, what's that movie called? Star Wars.
He's very cheeky.
Yeah.
And I think he needs to be very serious and very stern and not show emotions. And I don't know. We'll see. He won't be in it that much. So
I bet he could do it. There's an A24 film called A Most Violent Year where he plays a stern dad, and he was good in that.
Moving on. So Duncan Idaho, who is the guy in the Tron suit, is in the original movie, is played by Richard Jordan, who I know from Solar Babies, which is another awesome 80s movie.
We rented that a lot as well.
Jason Momoa is going to be him.
No. I don't like that. They should just get the old actor back for that.
That would be good too. But Duncan in the movie that we watched gets killed fairly quickly once at the beginning of the movie. In the book, he's kind of brought back to life. Because it is Jason Momoa, I'm sure they're going to use that plot and continue it on. But in the first part of the movie, he'll be gone soon, so we don't have to worry about that.
They're going to have to like CGI some acting onto him then, because he is awful.
He's awful. But he doesn't talk much. He's just a soldier. So he's not
supposed to. As long as
they
don't have to talk.
Now, if they bring him back, then he'll have to talk a lot, and I don't know how that's going to go. Thupper Hawat, the guy with the eyebrows that bugged you. He is a very important character. He was played by Freddie Jones in the original movie. I only know Freddie Jones from Young Sherlock Holmes, which is also an 80s movie.
Did not like Young Sherlock Holmes.
You need to watch that mess. So he will be played by Stephen Henderson, who is from Devs. He's a black man.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That'll be good. That'll be good.
It's important to note there are no people of color in the original movie.
Yeah, so, it was a non-diverse cast.
Yes, so this is good that they're bringing. I think I don't know much about him. I looked up stuff, but I think he's going to be great. It's a very important role, so I think it's going to be good.
He was great in Devs. I also had to ask you if his eyebrows were real when we were watching the movie. No, I understand they're not real now, but at first I was like, God, those eyebrows, those things are like.
That's
huge.
That's part of his race. I don't know why. It's just a thing that sets him apart. So let's talk about the other Mentat, who was Piter de Vries, who was played by Brad Dourif.
Yep.
Very he's got to be Brad Dourif to do it, right?
Brad Dourif was excellent.
So it's going to be David Dastmalchian.
Okay, what do I know him from?
You know him from a lot of things, but most recently he was in the Ant-Man movies. He is one of Ant-Man's crew. He's the kind of younger, kind of Russian-sounding guy. Yeah, you know him if you see him.
Okay.
I think he's gonna be great.
All right.
I like it. I like it a lot. I think that's a good. He's not as creepy as Brad Dourif, but he doesn't have to be in it that much. Princess Irulan has not been cast.
Which one is she?
She is the one who does the voiceover at the beginning. She is the Emperor's daughter, Virginia Madsen from Candyman.
Yeah.
She has not been cast in the new movie.
Wait, I don't remember her in the. Oh, maybe I thought that was the Emperor's wife.
That's his daughter.
Okay. Yeah. I thought that was the wife.
She is important because she has to marry Paul.
Okay.
Paul marries her in the books to bridge the gap between the two families, and so basically he can become the emperor.
Okay.
But she has not been cast, which. Okay. Also, another person who has not been cast in the new movie is Fade.
Which one's Fade?
Sting. Fade Routha is the Baron's nephew.
Uh-huh.
He is also supposed to only be 15 years old. He and Paul are cousins, but he doesn't know that they are cousins.
I did read, this was my IMDb trivia bit, that when Patrick Stewart met Sting.
He didn't know who he was?
No, and he said he was in a band called The Police, and Patrick Stewart thought that meant he used to be a policeman and was in a band.
Was in a police band. That's funny. Now, I love Fade.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't get much to do in the David Lynch movie. He has a lot to do in the books. He talks a lot more, and
Yeah.
So, but the
I
fact
thought he was good though. I thought
he was good. No, he did great. He was menacing. He was, scary.
He was like very buff.
Well, yoga. But
yes, of course, yoga.
He has not been cast, so he has to be in it. They can't leave him out.
Maybe they'll just get Sting back up in there.
He's supposed to be 15.
Sting can do it. He still does yoga.
Alia has also not been cast.
Is that the sister?
Yes, that is Paul's sister, who is born. She's a full-on Bene Gesserit witch when she is born.
Yep.
But and she becomes very important much later.
The young actress that played her in the movie was very good, and I assume that wasn't her real voice.
That was her real voice. That's Alicia Witt. Yes, that is her. She's been in a lot of things, but she was an urban legend.
Nice.
She's one of the first people to get killed. But
spoiler alert.
But,
for those who haven't seen.
But she's a genius. Actually, she has a genius level IQ. So she's
That's great. I thought they had like an adult voicer.
No, that was her, and you could tell because it had the lisp that she had, and she still has it now when you listen to her talk. Nice. But she has not been cast either, which leads me to believe that they're going to stop the movie.
Oh yeah.
Right about then. Not that they really need to cast a baby.
Yeah.
But there's been no mention of who's going to play her, and she is very important to the second half.
Okay.
Who else?
What about Patrick Stewart?
Patrick Stewart's character is Gurney Halleck.
I like his name. It reminds me of Major Dad.
Is very cool. That's going to be Josh Brolin, which I am completely on board for. He is a weathered soldier. He manages to escape when the Harkonnens attack, and he goes out to the desert, and he's still trying to stop the Harkonnens when Paul finds him. So
I will agree with that, but I think Josh Brolin should stop doing so many movies. I feel like he's stealing roles from other actors. He's in every big movie. He's in the Avengers. He's in Deadpool. He's in Dune. Let somebody else be in a blockbuster for once.
I think he's perfect. I can't think of anybody else that could have done it. I'm thankful they didn't put Jason Momoa in that part.
I'll agree with that for sure. I also like Patrick Stewart's Skullet towards the end.
Yeah, that was a very good Skullet. So let's talk about Stilgar, who is leader of the Fremen, who takes that's Everett McGill from Twin Peaks.
Yep, he was amazing.
Amazing, yes. That's going to be Javier Bardem.
Okay. I mean, I could get behind that. He has to get away. I assume he's not going to have the same haircut that he did in No Country for Old Men. As long as he not have that, he'd be fine.
He'd be fine. I think he's just going to be playing the same character that he did in James Bond.
Yeah.
A little bit creepy, it's fine. Whatever.
What about their like envoy that was like a hidden Freeman?
Freeman?
Yeah. The one that like
Liet Kynes?
I don't know his name, but he was in the little spaceship with him.
Yes. That is Dr. Kynes.
Okay.
Liet Kynes. He was played by Max von Sydow. Flash Gordon.
Sydow.
Yes, it was Max von Sydow.
I was wondering who that was. Good for him.
That they are changing to a woman
in
the new movie. And her name is Sharon Duncan Brewster. She was in Sex Education. That's on Netflix. She was like...
shout out to Sex Education on Netflix.
Excellent.
Very
Watch
good.
it. She was not the principal, but the boss of the principal, the lady that kept coming in to talk to the principal of the school.
I don't remember that.
Also is a Black woman, so another person of color.
Excellent.
But it's important because Chani, who lives with the Fremen, is Liet's daughter.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So now.
I say that because I remember you saying that while we were watching the movie.
I was like, oh, pay attention. She said, I am Chani, daughter of Liet, but I know you didn't catch who Liet was.
Correct.
In the 1984 version, Chani was played by Sean Young.
Oh, yeah. She was awful.
She's horrible.
Why was Sean Young getting so much acting work in the
Because she was
80s?
pretty.
I don't even...
Now, let it go. She was horrible. She had like 3 lines. It was fine.
Yeah, her part was bad. Like, it was... Yeah. She had a nothing part. Like, they didn't even...
She can't act.
Yeah.
So, Zendaya in the new movie. I'm 100% for this. Chani is supposed to be a fierce warrior and just very strong. Zendaya can do it. I'm not worried about that at all. I think it's going to be great.
I agree.
And the Baron. We haven't even talked about the Baron.
Oh, yeah.
I won't do any more. But the Baron was Kenneth McMillan, who was in a bazillion and 7 different things.
The only thing I know him from... Oh, I know him from something. Oh. In the TV show Rome, he played the guy that was like the town crier.
There you go. Well, it's going to be Stellan Skarsgård in the new movie.
That'll be fine.
I love me a Skarsgård, so I'm on board for this.
Man, they're gonna. How gross do you think they can make him?
I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna have him flying around in a fat suit. I don't know if that's gonna be going on.
I hope they do that. Again, like that fat suit that he was flying around in was very disturbing. Like both as a kid and now, because he looks like a balloon that's about to pop.
Yes.
Just like
and it's menacing, and he can come down and when he confronts Alia, she's supposed to be terrified. I know.
That's very nightmarish.
I'm 100% for it. I think it's gonna be great.
Yes.
Who else? I guess that's all. Oh, the Reverend.
What about the guy that was Sam from Quantum Leap? The traitor guy.
Oh, Dr. Yue.
Yeah.
He is going to be a gentleman named Chen Chang. I don't know him from anything but Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and I couldn't tell you who he was in that.
Okay.
But I think he's going to be very good.
Okay. Excellent. I like it.
Dean Stockwell.
Yes, Dean Stockwell.
I couldn't think of his name. So the only other person is the Baron's other nephew, who is Raban, the Beast Raban.
Was he the other Twin Peaks guy?
No.
Okay.
He was the guy that ate the cow's tongue.
Oh yeah, that was nasty.
And that was a real frozen dead cow that he ripped out of him. Anyway, that's Paul Smith. Okay. He was in the Robin Williams Popeye movie. He played Bluto. I
don't remember that, but that's very cool.
And anyway, Dave Bautista is going to be him.
Okay, I like Dave Bautista.
He can play a real scary guy, so I think that'll be fine too. So overall, the more that I think about it, the more I've read the cast list and have looked at things, and there's other people. I'm a little bit more excited about the new movie.
Okay.
The original will always, I had a poster for it. I must have watched it in my lifetime. I don't know how many times. He can tell you, I can quote the whole thing.
Yes, it's very annoying.
I'm sorry. I've read the books multiple times. I love them. So I'm a little bit more excited.
Do you think that they'll do any more books?
Well, there's an epic ton of them, so I hope not. So
would you recommend to a non-reader like me to read the books? Okay.
They're very detailed. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of character thoughts that you have to deal. I think you would be lost. Well, you read Game of Thrones. It's a lot like that.
I like Game of Thrones.
It's science fiction Game of Thrones, not fantasy.
Okay.
So
okay.
Maybe. Well, no, I don't.
We didn't talk about Toto.
Yeah.
The soundtrack. I thought they were fine. When I saw that they did it, I was like,
well, it's really just Brian Eno who did the prophecy theme, which is really what you hear over and over.
The prophecy with Christopher Walken?
No. The prophecy theme is the name of the song that plays over and over.
I thought you meant like the prophecy movie with Christopher Walken.
No.
Is it Christopher Walken?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
There's like 3 or 4 of them.
The name of the song that Brian Eno,
okay.
the song that plays over and over again that you hear most is just Brian Eno.
Well, that was very good.
Yeah, I thought it was great. And for the 80s, it was perfect.
Yeah.
So.
I thought it was going to be an 80s. I thought them being the soundtrack people would like date it more, but it didn't seem like an 80s. It didn't seem like an 80s score. It was it was fine.
Yeah. I loved it. I love everything about it. And I know people hate the movie.
I don't know why people would hate. Besides the thought bubbles. I still don't like the thought bubbles. They could have done without that. Am I making her mad by saying that I don't like the thought bubbles? Maybe I am.
Maybe. I don't know. I thought they were necessary to forward the plot, or else it would have been, we just watched Twin Peaks, the revival, and there's a lot of silence where you want to know.
But that's like all in.
But if you were watching Dune and didn't know the story, didn't know anything about it, and they did not have the thought bubbles, as you say, the voiceovers, you would have been completely lost.
That's fine. I like watching movies that I don't understand. Like Mulholland Drive. I still don't know what really happened on there.
You're not supposed to understand what happened on that one. But for this one, I think it doesn't bother me. I understand why it could be annoying because it just seems silly. But I thought it was necessary. And I didn't read the book until after I saw the movie. And so that was like, oh, yeah, I would have been completely lost trying to figure it out.
It's very thick. It's a thick movie.
It's a thick movie. Now, and we don't have to do it for this, but when you want to watch the miniseries is very long. And
I remember we watched the miniseries together.
And then it's followed up, it skips the book, and then it's followed up with Children of Dune, which I think is excellent too. So
does Paul eventually become a worm?
Paul does not.
Okay, well that's good then.
Paul's son does.
Oh yeah. Because is his son the X-Men guy?
Yes.
Okay. Who plays Paul in the short in the miniseries?
I don't
remember that either. But I'm looking forward to watching that. That'll be very fun.
Yes.
Okay, hold on. Let me make sure we got everything.
That was very long.
It was, but it was very good too. Oh yeah, the only other thing I wanted to mention was this is David Lynch's 3rd movie.
Yeah.
Which he did Eraserhead, which was amazing. Very, very awesome.
We should have made a list of all the people that was in Dune that went on to be in Twin Peaks because it's pretty much the whole cast.
Yeah.
Oh, and Alicia Witt. I forgot to tell you, the girl that played Alia. She is in Twin Peaks: The Revival. I don't know who she was, but she's in that. She's in 2 of the episodes of that. So
we'll have to watch it again. No. It was amazing.
I'm done.
But then he did Elephant Man, which was like not very David Lynch. And then Dune, which I would say is sort of David Lynch. And then after that, he got all in with Wild at Heart and Blue Velvet, and it's been David Lynch ever since.
Well, Blue Velvet first, Wild at Heart was late.
Let me check my notes on that.
Trust me.
Yes, you're correct. That is correct. Good job, baby.
I know Nicolas Cage. We can do that movie if you want to.
That movie was amazing. Well, I didn't like it. Wild at Heart, I did not like the first watch because I did not understand it. And then I loved it the second watch. So
I bet you still didn't understand.
I still don't understand.
I don't understand it.
But that's okay because I like movies you don't always understand. You can just enjoy the experience of like watching the movie.
But thank you for doing a movie that I love. And
you're welcome, baby. I'll do any movies you want. I think this is a good one. This is what we're going to call a deep dive. Deep dives with Drew. Wow. Deep dives on movies with Drew. All right, baby. Is there anything else you would like to say on here?
Don't think so.
Say hey to mom. We hope y'all are doing fine up there in the quarantine. Yeah. And now we're going to have, this is a very special day for us because it is Thursday, which used to be Music Bingo Day, but is now pizza and board games day.
Board games.
Where we have pizza and eat board games.
Because we can't go anywhere.
Yes. We don't really eat board games. We eat the pizza. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you, baby, for doing this. This was fun.
Yeah.